So I was actually experimenting with this deck a little bit more. Um, the first iteration of it did actually fairly decent, but I wanted to try to make it a little more consistent. In doing so, I actually am planning on playing this in a best of 3 format, and we do have our side deck. And the Mind Flayers that were in the main board, I actually put to the sideboard because in a control matchup, these were just complete dead card. And I wanted to try to make it so that way we were more consistent on our just random encounter gameplays. So that's why I decided to move it to the side deck. And if we're against a creature deck, we can bring it in, depending on the type of creature deck it is. If it's a full-on aggro deck, it can still sometimes be a little hard to play it, just because the card still isn't very fast. Well, in which case, so this is our goal here. This is playing their deck. To play our opponent's deck, we are using cards like Siphon Insight, where we go look at the top 2 cards of our opponent's deck, grab one, exile it face down, so the opponent doesn't know what we take. We may play that card at any time we normally can play the card. And Siphon Insight has flashback, so it can steal another 2 cards for 3 mana. The great thing about this also being an instant means that we don't actually have to commit to doing this during our turn. We can play that at the end of our opponent's turn. And this means that we can hold up like Counterspell Magic or Kill Magic in case we need to respond to something on the board instead of trying to steal their cards. We are also running Kotose, the Silent Spider. This one actually has been a very useful card. Not only does this exile a card from an opponent's graveyard and make it so that way we can play it, but we get to steal all of the other copies from our opponent's deck, graveyard, and hand, meaning we've stripped all of the possibilities of the opponent replaying it against us. Unless we, play the card and then they have some way to reanimate or replay the card from the graveyard. But now the downside to Kotose is any card we do steal from our opponent, we can only play as long as we have Kotose in play. So if Kotose leaves the board for whatever reason, we are no longer allowed to play that copy of the card that we stole. But the great thing is the cards still stay in exile, meaning we don't have to worry about the opponent still replaying those cards. This is also one of our best answers to a mill deck, which is strangely enough usually like a creature stealing decks like Greatest Weakness. Because if an opponent plays their mill spell, if they don't straight out beat us with it, we exile all the copies from their graveyard of that spell, and we no longer have to deal with it. To also play our opponent's cards, we are playing Xanathar the Guilty Kingpin. So for 6 mana, you get to 5/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get to choose target opponent. Until end of turn, that player can't cast spells. You may look at the top card of their library at any time. You may play the top card of their library, and you may spend mana as though or any color to play those spells. This is great because if we actually get into a point in the game where we resolve Xanathar, we just keep playing spells off the top of our opponent's library until we come across the land, and then we just leave it there, because that way we just make sure that the opponent never actually can play anything relevant. To help make sure we can survive getting to the point where we are stealing and playing all of our opponent's cards, we have some counter magic in the form of Saw It Coming and negates. We have a Feeding Hope here, which can be used for bouncing our opponent's cards or saving our own cards, because bouncing our Kotose to reset it, or even bouncing Xanathar to prevent them from killing it is always great. We have the Concealing Curtains as an early blocker that allows us to also steal a card from our opponent's hand. We have the Bloodchief's Thirst as early removal along with Infernal Grasp. And we have Duresses to attack our opponent's hand as well, in the form of getting any non-creature, non-land card from it. To act as sweepers, we have 1 copy of Shadow's Verdict in the main board, and we have 2 Blood on the Snows. Blood on the Snows is great because not only do we get to destroy all the creatures and planeswalkers, but we can potentially reanimate our Kotose or our Xanathar. That's a general wrap-up of the deck. We'll go ahead and hop into the games. Oh, I forgot to actually go over the side deck. This is actually kind of important. Because the side deck, we actually have more discard options for the matchup against control. But the discard we chose is Demigorgon's Clutches, because then we can also mill the opponent, giving ourselves more options to steal from them with cards like Kotose. We also, in our side deck, do have the Mind Flayer to steal our opponent's cards in the creature matchups. More Fading Hopes to help battle aggro matches, Wash Away Disdainful Stroke for the control matches, and March of the Wretch Sorrow for aggro matches as well. So that's a general idea of the deck. We'll go ahead and hop into some games and see how well we can do. It's a little awkward because of how slow the hand can be, because we have Xanathar and Katose in hand, but we have the mana, and we have an Infernal Grasp, so I'm going to go ahead and try it. Okay, so we're against black-green deck with search mechanics. I think this deck actually has a third color to it, if it's one of the ones I've seen before. We're going to go ahead and murder the Shigeki to prevent the opponent from stocking their graveyard. It also prevents them from putting this back in the hand so that we can use the channel function, which allows them to get cards back from their graveyard. Alright, there's Shigeki again. So we won't be able to stop the Shigeki, but in 2 turns we can play Katose and steal the Shigeki from their graveyard and prevent them from being able to use it. Fortunately, we don't really have a play this turn, so we're just going to pass. This was one of those concerns I had once when I was looking at this hand, if we kept it or not. But yeah, no, I figured the opponent had these Binding of the Old Gods because it's black-green, and they are showing snow sources. We may want to just steal this Lolth, but they can discard this at any time. I love the fact that they played this, because that means they won't have this to be able to be used. They'll be a mana short, because it's double X and double green, so actually 2 short. So we'll go ahead and try to steal their Lolths. Or do we steal the Binding of the Old Gods? Oh, we got all 3 of our Katoses. So I think what we're going to start off is we're going to steal the Binding of the Old Gods. Alright, so they got Blood on the Snow, Meathook Massacre, Infernal Grasp. Alright, so we were not going to be able to play the Binding, but I wanted to get it out of their deck. If we actually steal the Shigeki from their graveyard, we'll be able to actually prevent them from using the other 2 in hand. We'll actually be able to rip them both. Alright, they only actually have the 1 Lolth, so I'm not too worried about it being in their graveyard at the moment, if we can get rid of these Shigekis. Unfortunately, they have just enough mana now to actually protect their Lolth in the graveyard, or even the Shigeki, if we try to go for it if we play another Katose. So I think we're going to have to play Xanathar out, just to force them to use their Sweeper. Just basically get them to tap out. So, yeah, we're playing Guild Kingpin here. Just... Oh, they top-decked another instant speed removal? Oh, no, okay. They had priority because of the discard. Alright. So this is exactly what we were hoping for. We got the opponent to tap out. Unfortunately, they do get Shigeki back from the graveyard. But we can use Bloodchief's Thirst, because we have enough mana. We kill it. We play Katose. And we grab the Shigeki. So what that does is allows us to get all these other copies, and we no longer have to worry about them being able to use that to keep reanimating cards from their graveyard. Now the opponent can just sweep us again with this Meathook Massacre, and that's fine. Because we're just going to keep stealing all of their ability to do things. Yes, this deck is a bit toxic in a sense, but it's a control deck. It's what it's supposed to do. Alright, well, let's go ahead and go for one more Katose. And at this point, I'm going to take their Blood on the Snow. Kind of want to get their Invoke Despairs, but doesn't seem like we're going to get that anytime soon. Oh, of course, they top deck the removal. Alright, let's go ahead and behold the multiverse real quick. Alright, we do actually get the blood on the snow here. And concealing curtains. Concealing curtains not so useful right now, so we'll go ahead and bottom that. Alright. So at this point, we just play the land, we blood on the snow here. We destroy all creatures, and we get Xanathar back. So unless the opponent top decks another removal, we'll be able to just keep playing cards off the top of our opponent's deck. So, no removal for our opponent, please. Okay, let's play the second insight at the end of our opponent's turn, just in case they came across another one of these. Alright, second insight. Yes, we will steal the Infernal Grasp. Trigger happens, we now get to see what's... Oh, perfect. Because we don't want our opponent to be able to play that. Alright, we'll dig up for the 1. Opponent can keep that. Let's see. Do we want the opponent to keep that? If they have the Celestis, that means that they're able to activate to trigger Night Day to get a draw discard. I'm going to put Skullport Merchant? No. Go for the Concealing Curtains. I want something to be on the board. That way, if the opponent gets another copy of their Invoke Despair after the Celestis, we don't have to worry about them playing that against us and getting our Xanathar. Okay, we're fine with the destruction of our land here. Get ourselves an Ice Tunnel. Because of how the Boseiju is worded, we actually can search our deck for any of the basic land types, but it doesn't have to be a basic land. Alright, so they get their draw discard. Thanks to this being on board, we can actually take a peek at their hand and know if we want to get rid of it. Alright, opponent's got a land on top, so we don't mind giving that to them if they have something important in hand. We'll get rid of Bankbuster, and opponent has scooped it up. Yeah, there we go. That is a strong showing of the control there, but we are still in the matches. Bring in some Demigorgon's Clutches. We know the opponent is high on the mana cost on cards. So we'll bring in a Disdainful Stroke. Fading Hope, not so useful here. Trying to think if... Let's see. Based off their creature types they have, we'll try 2 Shadow... I'm sorry, to aim another Shadow's Verdict in. Go down... 1 Blood Chief's Thirst. Trying to think, like, what do we not really need in here? 1 Blood. So we'll go down 1 Clutches, only 2 Clutches is fine. And we'll go down a Meat Hook. So yeah, the opponent's whole goal is that they take advantage of Shigeki's ability to be discarded to add cards back from their graveyard to their hand and just keep recycling control and the Planeswalkers or any other big threat. Because we have so much ability to pick away at the opponent's graveyard, this is actually a pretty decent matchup for us. This is kind of an awkward hand because it's only 2 land, but we do have the Siphon Insight, so we can seal our opponent's land, and since they are on black, we can actually find relevant lands. So I think we'll keep. Gonna lead with the Marsh. Going with the Marsh because I want to be able to play these Psychic Insights. My opponent's going to check for traps. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to lose Insights here. Because it prevents us from being able to not only play it once, but be able to replay them as well. Yes, as I thought, they stole the second insight. We'll pass it back to the opponent. Alright, they're going to go find a land. They get the Bank Buster down, which is draw power for them. We take the Duress. Play our Duress from hand real quick. Take the Celestis. And I'm going to foretell. So the opponent's more than likely just going to activate this draw card, make sure that they can find their land draw. And they do. Well, let's go ahead and Duress again. Get rid of the Bank Buster. And unfortunately, we missed the land draw. So we're going to hold our Shot coming just to counterspell anything that we don't like. You can do that to get a land, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to stop coming on the Shigeki. Thankfully find another land, and it being blue really helps out here. Duress our opponent again. We'll get this Invoke Despair out of here. Alright, if they go for this, we have to counterspell it. It's a bit of a serious threat here. Of course, we get that as the top deck, which would have been better if we stole a land. Let's see if we can find a land out of our opponent's stuff. We do find a land. Unfortunately, we're going to end up starting to take like 4 damage from the Bank Buster every turn. Interesting. So opponent's still just doing regular dig after not cleaving it. See, I think we have to play Odawara as a land here. We'll pass it back. Opponent's more than likely just going to play this and go for the kill on our Skullfoot Merchant. Oh no, did you find another Shigeki? They did. That's rough. Because now they're able to Duress us, get the Disdainful out of our hand, and then they're able to use Invoke. Yep. Alright, so we activate this, sacrifice this to draw. Fortunately, we haven't found our Kitoses in this round here, because we would have been able to pull out the Invokes from their deck, or the Shigekis. Fortunately, I think we're just dead next turn. Or maybe not. So, Meat Hook for 1. This will give us a life back. We'll get rid of this. We'll bring up Skullport Merchant again. So they can't crew this anymore. Not unless they bring out another creature. Alright, it's a good thing we held on to the Shadow's Verdict, because now we can just verdict that away. Problem is, we're going to take 4 here. And then they can just animate this and kill us, though. Yeah, that's game. That's a shame. We just didn't draw what we needed, and opponent did manage to find what they did. So, let's see. Is there a way that we can improve our odds against the opponent? I don't think so. I think what we're running is currently the best we can do. So let's go for another Demogorgon's Clutches. Or, I'm sorry, Demogorgon. Yeah, no, it's Demogorgon with how it... Let's see. I don't think the Shadow's Verdict's working out nearly as well as I was hoping, but at the same time, they have cards I don't want to target remove. What's the card we go down here? Well, let's just go down to Stampful Strip. Treat it like that. Alright, this is a pretty good hand. We start off turn 1 using Duress. Turn 2, unfortunately, we don't really have a play. But turn 3, we can hit him with Clutches or the Merchant. And I think we go for the Clutches. So, turn 1 Duress, what do you have? We'll get the Bank Buster. Play Hall of Storm Giants, because if we don't play it now, it has to come and play tap. Oh, of course they top deck the Duress just to get our discard spell. Because that would have been a good discard against them, considering their hand right now. That's rough. The timing on that. Alright, I don't want to do this, but we kind of have to. The reason why I don't want to is we do have to discard a card, and that land would have meant that we could have played Xanathar. But we don't have any way to protect Xanathar at the moment, and yeah, opponent's going to Binding. We're going to sacrifice this to draw a card. Opponent's going to have enough mana that they can cast this at any time, so I imagine their next play is going to be the Lull. So here comes Land Lull. Oh, no, Duress. They find nothing. But they have information on what we have. If I play Xanathar, they play this. If I don't play Xanathar, they play Lull. I think we have to just hold. One, two, three, four, five, six. Alright, I'm going to activate Hall of Storm Giant. I'm going to attempt to attack Lull. They're going to chump block it, but... We're gonna make it so where they can't attack in for much, and if they want to protect Lolth, they'll either have to hold up mana for a instant speed removal spell, or they're gonna have to hold the spider back. Check for traps, really? I was thinking it's like next turn, if we drew a land, we could actually play Xanathar and then do the negate. Alright. We get the curtains, and we're going to take a peek at our opponent's hand. Get rid of Trespasser. Trespasser's just a little too dangerous for our opponent to have. It's a good creature. We have to counterspell the binding. Fortunately, we can't kill Lolth because they can double block it, but we kind of need to take the trade against their Trespasser. We have to hold back the Hall of the Storm Giant as a blocker, because they could kill us with this animated layer of the Hydra here. Alright, they do double block. We go for the Trespasser kill. Again, we didn't animate Hall of Storm Giant because we could have killed Lolth, but they would kill us on the swing back thanks to the animate here. Alright. Bankbuster for our opponent. Alright, opponent's going to trade in Lolth, which makes me believe that they might have a Shigeki in hand. It's either that or they're just going to try to push for the lethal here on the ground. Let's see, if we take the Sot coming. 1, 2, 3, then we'd only have 4 lands. We need a sweeper. I think we have to just put both on bottom. We got a sweeper. Fortunately, we don't have anything to reanimate other than Concealing Curtains. But we'll take it. I'm going to hold this in our hand because we might need an answer for bouncing this in later turns. Invoke Despair. Such a lethal card. I actually think this is sometimes better just to cast when your opponent doesn't have anything. Let's see. Good game. Is it good game? Yeah, it's a good game. Oh, Invoke Despair. Such a brutal card. Unfortunately, again, we just did not hit any of our Katoses. 3 of them in our deck. Drew none of them. It's a little awkward with the mana base, but I think like the fact that these are going to come and play tap. But I think we'll keep. Jespera Sentinel. If I usually see Jespera Sentinel, I have to assume they're red-green at the very least. Yep. Question is, do they have the white in there? Well, of course, they Jespera Sentinel Magda combo. They can actually tap this at any time to get the treasure from it. We're going to hold up the negate. I'm not sure if they have anything that we are going to negate this turn, but it's better than foretelling Sot coming. They have blue in their deck. Okay. Yeah, no, we negate Fable. No breaking mirrors here. Let's see. Excuse me for a second. We block Magda. I don't think the opponent's got burned. Gonna hold up this Sock Coming over animating the Concealing Curtains. Ducks are loud today. I'm not sure if it's coming through the mic or not, but... Yep, there we go. That's why I kept the Sock Coming. So yeah, we're against Teamer Dragons is basically what this is. We do need to shut off the opponent from being able to get more of those treasures, because if they get 5, they can sacrifice to 5 treasures to get any dragon straight to play. Alright, question time. Do we go for the Meat Hook Massacre, kill these both, leave ourselves tapped out? Do we go for the Concealing Curtains animate here, or do we Sock Coming? Or hold up for Sock Coming? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Curtains now. Prevents them from attacking with Magda anymore. We check to see if they have anything we want out of their hand. We're going to get rid of this Gold Spam. No attacks. Of course, they had 2 dragons still in hand. That was rough. All right. So, Bloodcheasters get rid of Magda. I'm doing this just that way they can't get themselves a dragon straight to play for free next turn. Because it just means that they'll just sacrifice all the treasures because they just tap her to Jaspera Sentinel next turn. Get themselves a gold span, swing for 8 in the air. What do you have, opponent? Do you have Burn Spell? They do have a Burn Spell. Ah, great. We let that resolve. The reason we let that resolve is because we're going to kill our own creature anyways. Because we're going -4 on this. Fortunately, that Lair of the Hydra is a big threat to us. But we really need to find something that allows us to get some card advantage here, whether it's Siphon Insight to steal our opponent's cards, Katose to steal a card from their graveyard. Just, we need to draw something. Oh, that is ridiculous top decking from our opponent. That is just the worst. Of course, we draw lands, and we're dead next turn. Alright. Jeez. That was nuts. Like how the opponent... I knew that they had a Hana and Lena in their deck, because you don't see a red-green deck without that in the deck. The partners are too good not to run. But this is one that we can bring the Mind Flayer in for. The Shadow's Verdict, not so amazing in this matchup. Disdainful Stroke is good. March is also good. We'll go down some negates. Trying to think what else we need to adjust here. Guess we'll go down at Fading Hope. Actually, let's keep the Fading Hope in and go down to Duress. And that should be it. Alright. So yeah, we're against basically teamer dragons with the partners supporting them. The blue's probably in their deck to give them some counter magic option to protect their cards. So we have to keep that in mind. Right, we decided to keep this hand even though it's got double Ice Tunnel because it's a little bit of a slow start, but we can at least start Ice Tunnel turn 1. And then turn 2 we can play Ice Tunnel and then the curtains. Alright, opponent with the Sentinel on the turn 1 play again. Do they have the stupid combo again from the start? Okay, opponent's not that lucky. We're going to go ahead and take the 1. No reason to risk getting hit by a Dragon's Fire. Let's take a look at our opponent's hand. What are we dealing with? Double Goldspan and a Snakeskin Veil. Let's make him discard one of these dragons. And we'll go ahead and get in for the 3. The Snakeskin Veil is annoying because it's a guaranteed protection for the dragon, but we can just hold up Disdainful Stroke to get rid of the Goldspan. Next to March of Wretched Sorrows, we don't have to worry about if they play Magda. Because they go for Magda this turn. I guess we still have to worry about it. Alright, Jaspera Sentinel, that's fine. Go land. We'll attack in. So we have the Fading Hope here, and we have the Disdainful Stroke. I think we're pretty well protecting ourselves. Okay, Mirror Breaker's fine. Attempt to Fading Hope the token. Trying to force them to use this protection spell. Alright, they took the bait. Get rid of the token the rest of the way. This is the reason why I have to fight over this token is the opponent has the ability to block and kill our Revealing Eye otherwise. Alright, so the opponent's more than likely going to discard this land here as part of the second trigger. That way they can get a redraw for something more useful. Oh, they discard the Shadow Skull Smashing. Interesting. Of course, they get Magda again. But Magda's so late now, it's not that much of an issue. Opponent knows we have an answer for that dragon, and they're just trying to play around it, I imagine. But with how passive they're being, I don't think they realize that we are going to eventually just kill them with this Revealing Eye. Alright, I finally try to go for the Goldspan Dragon. We give it the counterspell. Let's Behold before we do anything. Oh, Mind Flare. Oh, this is crazy. Alright, so we have Mind Flare. And they have a reflection of Kiki Jiki. We can seal the reflection of Kiki Jiki. And then be able to use its ability on the Mind Flare itself to temporarily steal our opponent's cards and be able to attack in. So, no attacks. I'm going to hold back. This is going to be kind of silly. Alright. Go for the Mind Flare. Attempt to steal Reflection. Don't tell me he drew a protection spell. Okay, so he's just temporarily creating a copy of something. Send the Eye. Try to see if I can bait them to try to go for a double block with this and the tree. So long as they don't have a protection spell, this is actually going to be a really good attack. I imagine if they had a protection spell, they would have protected their Kiki Jiki. Do we get the layer? They have priority because they can technically reactivate a layer, so I don't know if they actually have an active card in hand or not. Alright, we actually get it destroyed. Probably should destroy that in 4 blocks, but I wanted to make sure that the opponent didn't have something else that they could do to make sure our Revealing Eye died. Oh, of course they have the Dragon's Fire. That's a bit of a shame. I was really hoping that the Mind Player would be able to do some fun there. Alright, Blood on the Snow is a sweeper, but I don't think we need to activate it right now. Funny enough, Blood on the Snow is a sweeper we can use to reanimate Mind Flayer. So if anything actually were to have like a indestructible nature to it, we could have protected it. But at this point, I think we just... Yeah, so we're going to Blood on the Snow, clean up this board, and we'll be able to reanimate the Mind Flayer just to have the 3/3 body. Opponent, though, stays all on defense against a deck that doesn't have anything with haste. Like, Black-Blue doesn't have haste usually in their colors. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they were 1 mana short from doing what I was worried about. Because if they top deck Shattered Skull Smashing, if they had 6, they'll pay X6 and be able to kill off both our creatures here. But we have lethal on board if the opponent doesn't have an answer. We can use the curtains. They actually did top the Shattered Skull Smashing, but I did manage to keep the count on mana correct. Alright, so I don't know if the opponent has anything other than a Shattered Skull Smashing they can top deck that will save them. Alright, they decide to hold back. We are going to Siphon Insight before we attack. Fortunately, we find the double land, so we'll just grab 1. Ooh, that's good. Alright. But we get the kill. I wanted to steal cards from the opponent's deck first, because I wanted to make sure we had the lethal. And in doing so, I wanted to make sure if we could hit a haste creature, we could just throw another threat down at them. But knowing that the opponent has the Caretaker does mean that having the Meathook Massacres and the Blood of Snow is going to probably be very important for us, because we can't just target her. I think I'm actually going to grab a Wash Away. Just to give us... No. I think that's not going to be very useful. Never mind. Like, the opponent's spells are slow, but the moment they resolve, a counterspell is kind of useless. So I don't want to put us on too many counterspells. I think this one's worth trying to keep. It's a little slow if our opponent does do the Magda combo, but we can at least steal cards on turn 2 from our opponent. Turn 3, we can sweep up the Magda if it is on board. The only problem is it's they have the Magda combo, they're probably going to have everything in play that they want after that turn anyways. Luckily, it doesn't look like the opponent has any of their early cards. That's good for us. Drawback is they could be, because they have the blue, have the counter magic force. So we're just going to play Siphon Insight at their end step. We'll steal the Dragon's Fire. Let's go Swamp. Pass. I was tempted to steal the other land just because it gives us another blue source. My opponent really playing this slow. Alright, Test of Talents unfortunately does hit all the copies out of our deck. But they also get to see our hand, so they know what we're working with. We're going to play this and pass the turn. I just really want to make sure we have the double blue for playing out there, and I don't want to... I want the mysteriousness of this card that they hadn't seen. Let's see. Let's attempt the Dragon's Fire. Okay, Dragon's Fire succeeds. We're gonna go for Katose. This will give us knowledge on what's going on in the opponent's hand. Get rid of the... Going for the Test of Talents. That way we don't have to worry about more copies of that being played against us. Alright, it's just a 1-up in their deck. Let's see, so they have 2 negates, 2 disdainful strokes. That's it for their counterspells. Alright. Graveyard, nothing. Hand. Alright. So 3 Goldspan Dragons in deck, none in hand. 2 Six Chariots, 1 Ren and 7. Yeah, so they are very late game heavy with their deck. The thing is they have a Chariot and a Ren and 7 in hand. Alright, another Magda. I'm a little surprised I went for the Magda. Thought they would have played for Chariot. Let's go Mind Flare. This will probably force them to use this. And we'll let that resolve. We'll hold back. I'm going to hold the Fading Hope to reset our Mind Flayer here. Yep, partners. Let's see, how many snowlands do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, we're short 1 snow. My goal was to be able to blood on the snow here. Well, we can meat hook massacre, so it's okay. So we'll take the trade. Reset Mind Flayer. We know the opponent doesn't have anything to protect this Halana, so I'll actually steal it. Rose Mind Flayer, and we should be able to outpace our opponent now. Yeah, Averbrook we don't have an answer for. But one of the things we can do is just pay this for 0. That way it doesn't turn to night against us. That prevents the Averbrook from transforming. And with it not being able to transform, we don't have to worry about them putting the +1/+1 counters on itself. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, Ren in 7. Not surprising. Attempted Infernal Grasp. And we have the game now. The reason why I say we have the game is we move to combat. Counters there. This gets a swing there. This goes to face. They have to block Mind Flayer. They can't create anything large enough to kill Mind Flayer anymore. And with our life total, there's no worry about any haste creature coming in and killing us. Because if they go for Chariot, we just massacre for 2, clean up all the tokens. Yeah. Good game, opponent. It was a nice effort. But you just ran too slow against the control deck. So we do this for 2. Cleans up all the tokens. They can animate the Chariot to still defend for them. But they have to block with the Chariot to not die. Actually, I take it back. They could have still survived. They could have taken the 1 hit because our partners wouldn't have had any power to shift over the more counters. But they were still in a losing situation.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video, and have a nice one.